Hey, first graders, happy Friday! All right, so today we are going to read a story called The Fox and the Grapes. Now, remember last Friday how you had a fable and we did the read aloud and the questions all in one day? And I told you that if you needed to take a break, that was okay. Well, we're doing the same thing this Friday. So I'm going to give you the whole lesson, read aloud and questions and assignment. And if you need to take breaks or split it up over the weekend, that is perfectly fine, okay? So before we get started, we're going to go over our objectives, okay? Our learning objectives are to review the characteristics of fables, including characters, plot, setting, and moral. Explain the motivation of the main character and how it relates to the moral of a fable. Illustrate and describe the moral of a fable. Remember, moral is lesson. And define and use the word bunch and the phrase sour grapes. I wonder what that means. And then we are going to draw a scene from your favorite fable and write or dictate its moral in your own words, okay? So we got a lot of stuff to do, but it's okay because it's going to be awesome. This story is super fun, and in the end, you get to draw and label and write. Woohoo! Okay, so our key vocabulary is bunch, juicy, lunged, pluck, and ripe. All right, let's see what these words mean. Bunch is a noun, and a bunch is a group of things that grow close together or are placed together. An example of bunch in a sentence is Zion's mother bought one bunch of bananas at the market. And if you look at this picture, you can see a bunch of grapes, okay? Juicy. Juicy is an adjective, and juicy means full of juice. Have you ever opened up an orange and it was really juicy and there was juice coming out? Well, that means that the orange was juicy. All right, a way to use it in a sentence could be, Kim used several juicy strawberries to make a smoothie. A strawberry smoothie sounds delicious right now. Okay, the next word is lunged. And lunged is a verb. Remember, verbs are our action words. So lunged means to move forward suddenly, okay? If you've ever seen my dogs play together and they will lunge at each other, so they jump forward at each other really quickly. So that's the word lunged. We can use it in a sentence by saying, Tony lunged to catch the baseball. So Tony's lunging forward to catch that baseball, right? He's moving forward really quickly. You can see the dog in this picture is lunging. The next word is pluck. Pluck is a verb. Remember, verbs are our action words, okay? And to pluck means to pull off. So if you look at this picture, it looks like that person's going to pluck that apple from the tree. And let's see what our example in a sentence is. Manuel plucked a red apple from the tree. Okay, pulled it off. Ripe. Ripe is an adjective. And ripe means ready to be used or eaten. And our example is, I can tell that the banana is ripe because it is yellow. If you look at that banana, it's yellow. Sometimes when you go to the store, bananas are green, and that means that it is not ready yet, so it's not ripe. But if a banana is yellow, that means it is ready to eat, and it's ripe, right? Okay. So let's go over some of the things that we've already learned. Are the fables that we've heard fiction or make-believe, or are they nonfiction, meaning they are real life, they're factual? The fables that we've read, are they made up or are they real life? They're made up, which means they are fiction, okay? I want you to say that for me. Fiction means made up. Go ahead and say it out loud. Let me hear you. Fiction means made up. All right, what are the characteristics of a fable? Who remembers what the characteristics of a fable are? What are the characteristics of a fable? I'll give you one. They are short. Okay, they're short stories. What else? They have a moral or a lesson that's teaching us something. And some of them give animals human qualities like talking. So some of them have personification. Remember, personification is when those animals are acting like humans. All right. So do you remember hearing the fable, The Wolf in Sheep's Clothing? Give me a thumbs up if you remember that. Do you remember what it means when people use the phrase a wolf in sheep's clothing to describe somebody? Do you remember what that phrase means? What does it mean? It means that a person isn't always, it means a person is not always who he or she appears to be on the outside. Remember, we thought that wolf on the outside looked like a sheep, but really it wasn't a sheep, right? And we talked about how sometimes when I was little, I was being a wolf in sheep's clothing because I would do all of these nice things. I'd do all these chores and stuff, but I was really only doing those nice things because I wanted something, which that was not good. I shouldn't have done that. So that is what it means to be a wolf in sheep's clothing. All right. Now we're going to play a little game to get you moving. Are you ready? So if I'm giving you a good example of a wolf in sheep's clothing, I want you to stand up, okay? And if the example that I give you is not an example of being a wolf in sheep's clothing, I want you to stay sitting, okay? And I'm going to do it with you, but I'm going to give you a little bit of time before I do it. That way I'm not giving it away, all right? So here we go. I used to really like Sienna, but I've decided that she's a wolf in sheep's clothing. I found out that she only wanted to be my friend because my family has a swimming pool. What do you think? Is that a good example? Yes. So you should be standing up, right? Because she was only being nice to him because she wanted something from him. She wanted to be able to play in his family's pool, right? She wasn't actually being his friend. She was pretending. All right. What about this one? I really wish people would believe me when I tell them things, but I've been such a wolf in sheep's clothing, always making up stories that now no one believes me. What do you think? No, so you're going to stay sitting, right? Because people don't believe him. They know that he's lying, okay? Now, do you remember how the wolf pretended to be a sheep to get something he wanted, but in the end he was the one that got hurt? Do you remember that? So his plan was working at first, and then in the end it didn't work out. He ended up getting hurt. He got taken to the market to be sold. All right. So today's fable has another phrase that is commonly used, and this is going to be the last fable in this domain or this unit. And I want you to find someone to share these answers with. So if you want to tell your stuffed animal, or you want to tell somebody at home, or your pet, you can do that. Okay. So let me ask you this question. Ready? Have you ever wanted something that you couldn't have for some reason? So was there ever anything that you wanted but you couldn't have? I want you to tell somebody about a time where you wanted something but you couldn't have it. Pause the video and go tell somebody. All right. Now that you're back, I want you to tell me, how did that make you feel? How did that make you feel? Did you feel good? Did you feel bad? Did you feel mad? Did you feel sad? How'd you feel? I know that there was one time that I really, really, really wanted strawberries for dessert. And I think I was like maybe 6. And my dad said no. And it made me really sad. And I cried. And then I was really mad at him. I was not happy. Okay. Because I wanted those strawberries. And my dad said no. All right. So in today's read aloud, you're going to hear a story about a fox who also wanted something really badly, okay? I want you to listen carefully to find out what it is that the fox wanted and the lesson that he learned because of this. But I also want you to raise your hand whenever you hear one of our key vocabulary words. Remember, our key vocabulary words are bunch, juicy, lunged, pluck, and ripe. Okay, so let's get started here. One hot summer day, a fox was strolling along when he noticed a bunch of juicy grapes just turning ripe. Wow, that was a lot of our key vocabulary words. Remember that just means a group of grapes full of juice ready to be eaten. Okay? Hanging on a vine above him. That's just the thing to take care of my thirst, said the fox. He trotted back a few steps, then ran forward and jumped, just missing or not getting the grapes. He turned around and tried again. 1, 2, 3, go, he said as he lunged at the grapes with all his might. But again, he missed. So this fox, he's trying really hard to get these grapes, isn't he? He lunged or moved forward suddenly, and he's tried 2 times now. Again and again, he tried to pluck or pull off the grapes from the vine, but at last he gave up. He walked away with his nose in the air, saying, I didn't want those old grapes anyways. I'm sure they're sour. Why would the fox walk away after trying so hard to get the juicy grapes? Why would he just walk away? What do you think? Do you think he got frustrated and he just... Oh. You think he just got frustrated and decided to give up? Maybe. All right, so the moral of this story is that you shouldn't speak badly about something that you once wanted just because you can't have it. So basically what they're saying is you shouldn't talk badly about things just because you can't have them, because that's not very nice, right? We shouldn't talk badly about anything, really. Okay, so why is this a fable? What makes this a fable? It taught us a lesson. It had personification, or the fox acting like a human, right? Talking. I guess that's really the only thing that he did that was kind of like a human. And then it was really short, right? Yeah. Okay, if you need to take a wiggle break, go get some water or some juice or something, maybe some juicy grapes, and then come back and we will do our comprehension questions and our word work. So if you need to pause the video and take a little break, go ahead and do that. Okay, welcome back. If you went on a break. If you didn't go on a break, well then, hey, what's up? You're still here. Okay, so what was the title of this fable? So what was the name of this story? Do you remember? The Fox and the Grapes, right? Who was the character in this fable? There was only one character. Remember, a character is the animals or people in a story. The fox, right? The fox was our character. Does this illustration show the beginning, the middle, or the end of the fable? And how do you know? So this could be the beginning or the middle, right? Because in the beginning, he went over there and he was like, ooh, those look good. And in the middle, he was trying to get them. But it couldn't be the end, because in the end, he had walked away and he had his nose stuck up in the air. And he was like, ugh, I don't want those silly grapes anyway. They're probably sour, right? He's kind of being a sore loser. Now, the plot or sequence of events in this fable describes the many times that the fox tries to get the grapes. In the end, he does not get them. Can you think of a way that the fox might have been able to get the grapes? Think of a way that the fox might have been able to get those grapes. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just whatever you think. So it's your opinion. And I want you to share that with me. Interesting. All right, so remember, Aesop's fables were written to teach a lesson. What is the moral or lesson of this fable? Do you remember what it was? You shouldn't speak badly about something that you once wanted just because you can't have it, right? So, what did the fox do or say that helped you understand the moral? Do you remember? What did the fox do when he couldn't get his way? What did he do? He said, I didn't want those old grapes anyway. I'm sure they're sour, right? He's talking badly about them, even though he wanted them earlier. So, how does the fox in this fable act like a human? Or what way, what is one example of him? What is an example of personification in this story? He wants to eat the grapes and he lunges and jumps. Oh wait, no, that's not personification. That's how he was acting like an animal. Sorry guys, I got all mixed up in my head. So he was acting like an animal because he wanted the grapes, and he was lunging and he was jumping. And foxes can do that in real life, right? But how is he acting like a person? So what was an example of personification in this story? What was he doing? He was talking, right? Fox don't really talk, right? Okay. All right. Now we are going to do some word work. Are you ready? Here we go. In the read aloud, you heard, one hot summer day, a fox was strolling along when he noticed a bunch of juicy grapes just turning ripe, hanging on a high vine above. I want you to say the word bunch with me. Can you say the word bunch? Bunch. And I want you to say it in a whisper voice. Bunch. Let me hear it. Bunch. Now I want you to say it in a mouse voice. Bunch. Now I want you to say it in a robot voice. Bunch. Bunch. Okay. Bunch means a lot of things or people grouped closely together. An example of using the word bunch in a sentence might be, Mom bought a bunch of bananas for breakfast. Have you ever seen a bunch of something? Or do you have a bunch of something? I want you to use the word bunch when you tell about it. Okay, so pause the video and go tell somebody. It can be a dog, one of your pets. It can be a stuffed animal. It can be somebody in your home right now. And then I want you to come back. All right, guys, what's that word we've been talking about? What's the word we've been talking about? Bunch, okay? All right. That is all I have for that. And you are going to, oh, just kidding. Hang on, wait. I almost forgot. We were going to talk about the phrase sour grapes, and I totally forgot. Whoopsie. Okay, have you ever heard the phrase sour grapes? I want you to say that phrase, sour grapes. So the phrase sour grapes is something that someone says about the negative comments someone else makes when he or she could not get something they really wanted. Okay? So in The Fox and the Grapes, the fox says something negative about the grapes, so something not nice about the grapes that he wanted so badly. What did the fox say about the grapes at the end? Do you remember? He said, I didn't want those old grapes anyway. I'm sure they are sour. When the fox cannot reach the grapes, he decides that it is okay that he cannot have them because they probably wouldn't taste good anyway. So when we talk about the fox's reaction to not getting what he wanted, we say it's sour grapes, okay? So just like that fox in the story, when someone says something negative about something they wanted but can't have, we call their comments sour grapes, okay? So let's say that I really wanted this toy that my big sister had, right? And I thought it was really cool. And maybe it was one of those cars that you can sit in, like one of those toy cars that you can sit in and drive around in when you're little. Do you know what I'm talking about? And my sister had one, and I really, really wanted it, right? But I couldn't have it. Let's say my sister didn't want to give it to me. She didn't want to share with me. And I found out that I wasn't going to get it. So I was upset, and I said, you know what? I didn't want that silly car anyway. It's not that cool. It's not that cool. But I was only saying that because I couldn't get it. That would be me being sour grapes. Okay? Do you understand that? Okay. So now I want you to think of a time that you wanted something really, really badly. And then I want you to pretend that, let me say that again. I want you to think of a time when you wanted something really, really badly and didn't get it, and then pretended like you didn't want it anyway. And if you never felt that way, then I want you to make up an example like I did. Okay? All right. Now, I want you to share that example with me or with somebody at home. Okay. All right, guys, that is all I have for you for now. But I want you to go check out the video that is going to explain the assignment for you today, okay? All right, guys, good work. See you in a little bit.